It's new tools time, and hopefully I can show you my cool strategy for these no-touch iPhone 10 and 10s, 10s Max. So what we have here is a 10s, I think it's just the S, and I'm using the Sunshine preheater, and I want to show you how we separate these boards. So all we're going to do is let this thing heat up. So I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to set it to about 199. So you can see here's the main control unit. So I'm going to set this to 200 degrees. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the interposer board is soldered to the bottom board with the regular high temp lead-free SAC 217 degrees Celsius solder. The top board to the interposer, the top of the Oreo, the top board is soldered to the interposer with a lower temperature 183 solder. Maybe it's leaded, I don't know. The 183 figure comes from, that's what they told us in China, so we'll take their word for that one. But in any event, the top board has a lower melt alloy than the connection to the bottom board, which means that once you just heat this thing up, you can just flip off this top board, so it's really, really easy. Right, so it's at 182. Look at that. Look, my hand can move it. Look. There we go. So I'm just going to flip it. You could probably pick it up with your hand. I kind of like that idea. I'm just going to pick it up with my hand. There we go. Easy, easy. Now, this board is here for no touch. Typically, with no touch on iPhone 10 or 10s or 10s Max, this is girlfriend damage. God damn it! And this is you cheated on me damage. This is intentional damage. I like to think of the little iPhone 10 boards as being like really tightly wound guitar strings. And if you slam it down, then the connections between the bottom board and the top board will just pop off. And that's what tends to be the problem on these. All right, so let's look under the microscope here at our iPhone 10s, and we're going to clean up all of these pads and see what the problem is. So what's the deal? We can see that, as usual, we have some pads that are missing on this top board. Because of why? That guitar string tightly wound damage, slam down the phone, boom, it severs the little neck of those pads, and they're now gone. And these are going to be important for the function of touch. At least some of them are. That's why we can't get data on this phone, and that's our goal. So now it's time to investigate what these pads do, and then I'm going to show you my secret special technique for handling this really common problem of torn pads. Next thing to do is let's look up and see which one of these pads are important for touch and what are the other ones doing. Here we are to match on ZXW. So if you don't know what ZXW is, there's a lot of newcomers to the channel. You can click over to iPadRehab.com and click on our supply store and search for ZXW. We're now selling the ZXW online subscriptions, and we wrote a blog article. So at iPadRehab.com, you can read all about ZXW and find out how to buy it and install it and use it yourself. So for us, we have this iPhone 10s, and we can see now that we are missing various pads. So let's see which of these are important, what do they actually do. So up here on the top row, we are missing 1, 2, 3 on the top, and we can click over to ZXW and see that those kind of code for, they're all happen to be on PP VDD main. Now since VDD main is also in many places coming through the interposer board elsewhere, we probably don't need to repair those in order to get data recovered. But let's kind of continue on down the road. Now in the iPhone 10, all of these outer row were ground. That's not true anymore in the 10s. So these are important now, and you can kind of see a pattern here where we are missing on this outer row, the second one, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2, 6, and 8 are missing. And if we click over to ZXW, it's kind of interesting. 2 is PMU to NFC enable, near field communications. We may or may not need that in order for the phone to boot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is the money. PMU to touch clock. So clock for touch, that's why we don't have touch. So that's 6, 7, 8. 8 looks like a Wi-Fi to CPU communication. So that's going to be important for Wi-Fi. But look at this pattern. We're missing these ones that are not ground. The ground ones are the tough ones. So they're more difficult to break off. So you can guess that the ones that you're missing are actually ones that you're going to need. So that's the deal. What do we need to actually put back? We can probably not worry so much about our VDD main, and we may not need our NFC, but we definitely need our touch. So let me show you my technique for how to replace the pads. So we've got a little bit of a workaround that I want to share with you guys now. All right, so here's how I start. First, I'm going to tin the broken vias that I can still see. So I'm going to do a couple of these. Even though I might only need that touch one, I'm going to see if I can do a few of them. So with the mini hot tweezers, I'm just going to try to tin just the torn part. I've tinned a few of these. Next, I'm going to put a pre-made solder ball, which you can get on iPad Rehab Supply. So this is a pre-made solder ball. All right, so I've got, let's just do 2. We can do kind of a couple at a time. And now I'm going to come at it with some hot air. And my goal is to get that pre-made solder ball to act like a lollipop and suck onto the stick there. So I'm going to encourage these guys to suck on to the little stems. Let's do a couple more. And let's see if we can suck those guys on there. All right, once we have the solder balls on, then comes the secret step. We're going to smash them down to turn them flat into pads, and that's going to make contact in the recovery jig. And that just looks like this. Press, press, press. And there we go. These now will make contact with a recovery jig, and we should be able to recover the data. Okay, appearance change. This is actually the next day. So I put this back together and I recovered the data. So it actually came up at the swipe up to recover. So it did swipe up, that was pretty boring, and then it had a lot of customer data and I wanted to get it recovered right away. So I'm coming back the next day to show you the exciting conclusion. So I don't even remember in my earlier clip if I got a chance to show you the new iPhone XS and XS Max eye socket. So these are new to iPad Rehab Supply, but let me show you how they work, and I'll put this together and you can see that touch is working with the secret ball smash method that I made up. I love that, and I use that quite a bit, and now you can too. So this is for both iPhone XS and XS Max, and the jig works like this. For XS, I'm kind of guessing how it works. This is how I use it. I don't use the spacer. I don't use the little extra board here for the Max, and I don't use the extra little pogo pins so far, but I like that they're there. That comes in the box. I'm going to put my known good bottom board, and you can have a couple of different known good bottom boards around. Known good bottom board, and then next you have to connect this little extension cable. This is super handy, and this comes with your eye socket, and connect that down on the digitizer connector, and then stack the middle pogo pin interposer board, and then you're going to stack your top board on top that you are trying to recover. After that, feed the connector cable up through this doohickey and press it together just like in the regular iPhone X. Now we'll connect the screen LCD. Connect the extension cable to the digitizer connector. So LCD on this one connects directly to the board, and the extension cable is just for that digitizer connection. So then you've got your screen there. Then you need some kind of a battery. Prop my battery on a little 3D printed guy. Where is that thing? Ah, ha ha ha! Here it is. And then connect the battery. All right, and then you need a way to prompt it to boot. So you can prompt it to boot either by shorting the power pin, which I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's one of these guys. Or you can do it the way I usually do it because I'm recovering data with some kind of a charge port. This is how I got into trouble with the first video. I used one that is the customer board, and it had all the customer data on it. So let me grab one that is different. Aha, a nice blank one. Just make it so that I can plug that in there. Okay, everything connected, and now we can prompt to boot. Prompt to boot. Show me an Apple logo. Yay! All right, now we want to see if we have touch. Also, this comes with a stencil for reballing the boards back together for the XS and the XS Max. And these blue things. I don't know what those are. Maybe you guys can tell me. What the heck is that? All right, here we go. And unlock iPhone. Touch is working. There we go. So touch is working. And There we go. Touch is now working with the smash ball method. So now all of those really difficult, all kinds of torn pads are missing, are now easy. There you go. This is my own creation, the smash ball method we've been using successfully for a really long time, and I've been looking for a good case to share with you guys. So if you want to give it a try, then grab an iPhone 10 that has no touch near you, split those boards with the Sunshine preheater, reball the smash ball method, go ahead and stick those solder balls on the little nubs, smash them, put it in your eye socket for the iPhone XS, and you can recover data as well. As usual, you can find all the things that we use in the video on iPad Rehab Supply. So support our channel, go over to iPadRehab.com and click on Supply so that you can see the exact tools that we use every day. We don't sell things that we don't actually use. So if it's on there, there's a reason why we like it. So we're not gonna waste your time with a bunch of things that kind of sort of don't work. So head over to iPad Rehab Supply, and I'll see you next time.